Hi, I'm Nico. I've worked my family's 300-acre farm in rural Pennsylvania for 40 years. The land's been in my family for 3 generations, and I plan to pass it to my daughter Emma someday. But that plan changed the day she married Derek Morrison. The wedding reception was in full swing when Derek approached me, microphone in hand, grinning like he'd already won something. "Nico, come up here, man!" Derek called out, gesturing toward the stage. "I've got something to say." I stood up slowly, confused. "Derek, what's this about?" "Just come on up. This is important," he insisted. I walked to the stage, my gut telling me something was wrong. Derek threw his arm around my shoulders, facing our 100-plus guests. "Everyone, I want to thank my new father-in-law for his incredible generosity," Derek announced. The room quieted. "Nico, why don't you tell everyone about your wedding gift to us?" My blood ran cold. "What gift?" Derek's smile tightened. "Don't be modest. The farm. You're signing it over to Emma and me, right? That's what we discussed." "We never discussed that," I said firmly. "Come on, Nico. You said when Emma got married, the farm would be hers. Well, she's married now." Derek pulled a folded document from his jacket. "I even had the transfer papers drawn up. All you need to do is sign them here in front of everyone." The room erupted in murmurs. My brother Michael stood up from his table, his face dark with anger. "Derek, you're out of line," I said, my voice shaking. "I never agreed to this." Emma rushed to the stage. "Dad, you did say the farm would be mine someday. Derek's just trying to help us secure our future." "Someday, Emma. Not today. Not like this," I replied. Derek's expression hardened. "Nico, Emma's my wife now. What's hers is ours. You wouldn't want to disappoint her on her wedding day, would you?" "I'm not signing anything," I said clearly. "Then we have a problem," Derek said, his voice threatening. "Because I've already told my investors that we're developing that land. High-end residential properties. I've got buyers lined up." My heart pounded. "Investors? Derek, what have you done?" "What I had to do to secure our future," he snapped. "Sign the papers, old man, or I'll make sure you regret it." Michael pushed through the crowd. "That's enough. Nico, don't sign a damn thing." Derek pointed at Michael. "This is family business. Stay out of it." "Nico is my brother. That makes it my business," Michael shot back. Emma was crying now. "Dad, please. Derek's worked so hard on this plan." Derek grabbed my shoulder hard. "Last chance, Nico. Sign, or I'll take it anyway. I've got documentation that says you promised Emma that farm when she turned 25. She's 26 now. Legally, it's ours." "I never made any such promise in writing," I said. "We'll see what my lawyers say about that," Derek threatened. He turned to the crowd. "Sorry, folks. Looks like the old man's going back on his word to his own daughter." The guests sat in stunned silence as Derek stormed off the stage, Emma following him in tears. Michael grabbed my arm. "Nico, we need to talk. Now." 3 days later, I sat in attorney Sarah Chen's office with Michael beside me. "Tell me everything," Sarah said, her recorder running. "Derek Morrison publicly demanded I sign over my farm at the wedding," I explained. "He claimed I promised it to Emma in writing." "Did you?" Sarah asked. "Never. I told Emma verbally that someday the farm would be hers, but no timeline, no legal commitment." Michael leaned forward. "Sarah, Derek mentioned having documentation. What if he forged something?" Sarah nodded. "Have you signed any papers recently that Derek could access?" I thought hard. "Last year when I had pneumonia, Emma stayed with me. Derek visited a few times. I signed medical forms, insurance documents." "Did Derek handle those papers?" Sarah pressed. "He said he'd help file them," I admitted. "I'm hiring a private investigator," Sarah said. "Meanwhile, gather every document related to your farm. Deed, will, any powers of attorney, medical forms from last year." 2 weeks later, Sarah called an emergency meeting. Private investigator Tom Reynolds spread documents on the table. "We've got him," Tom said. "Derek filed a forged quitclaim deed 3 months before the wedding. He used a signature stamp he made from one of Nico's insurance forms." My hands shook. "That's not my signature." "It's close enough he thought he'd get away with it," Sarah confirmed. "Derek has a history. 2 previous fraud charges in Nevada, both settled out of court." Michael slammed his fist on the table. "I knew something was off." "There's more," Tom continued. "Derek's been meeting with developers. He's already accepted a $200,000 down payment for your property. He told them the sale would close within 60 days. "He sold my farm without owning it?" I gasped. "Which is wire fraud, forgery, and attempted theft," Sarah said. "I've contacted the DA's office. They're very interested." "What about Emma?" I asked. "We don't know how much she knows," Tom said. "I'd advise recording any conversations. Pennsylvania's a one-party consent state." Sarah handed me a small device. "Keep this recorder with you. If Derek or Emma contacts you about the farm, record everything. What's our next step? Michael asked. We need Derek to incriminate himself, Sarah explained. Nico, call Derek. Tell him you're reconsidering. Ask to meet to discuss the transition. Can you do that? My jaw tightened. Absolutely. That evening, I called Derek with the recorder running. Derek, it's Nico. We need to talk. Finally seeing reason? Derek's voice dripped with smugness. I want to discuss this farm situation, face to face, you, me, and Emma. Smart move, old man. How about tomorrow at the farm, noon? I'll be there, I confirmed. After hanging up, I called Sarah. It's set, tomorrow at noon. Perfect, she replied. Tom and I will be parked nearby. Keep your recorder on. Get him to admit what he's done. The next day, Derek arrived in a new Mercedes. They walked into my kitchen where I'd set up hidden cameras. Nice of you to come around, Nico, Derek said, sitting down uninvited. Emma, tell your dad how excited you are. Emma looked uncomfortable. Dad, Derek's plan really could help everyone. Help how? I asked gently. We'd take care of you, Dad, she said. Derek says we'd set you up in a nice condo, give you a monthly allowance. An allowance from my own farm money, I said flatly. Derek jumped in. It's better than you struggling here alone. Emma deserves better than this rundown operation. I see, I said carefully. Derek, explain this development deal. How exactly did you set it up? Derek's eyes gleamed. I've got vision, Nico. I found investors willing to pay top dollar. We've already got $200,000 in escrow. But the farm's still in my name, I pointed out. Not for long, Derek said confidently. I filed the transfer papers 3 months ago. Technically, the farm's already Emma's. You filed transfer papers without my signature? I asked. Derek hesitated, then laughed. Details, Nico. What matters is Emma gets what's rightfully hers. Derek, Emma said nervously, you said Dad signed those when he was sick. He did, honey. He just doesn't remember, Derek said smoothly. I stood up. I remember perfectly, and I never signed anything. Derek's face darkened. Don't start this again, old man. What if I told you I've had those documents examined by a forensic expert? I said calmly. Derek's confidence wavered. What are you talking about? The quitclaim deed you filed. The signature's forged. Emma gasped. Derek, is that true? Of course not. He's lying. Derek stood up, his face red. Am I? I pulled out my phone, showing the forensic report. Derek lunged for my phone, but I stepped back. Don't make this worse. You can't prove anything, Derek snarled. Actually, I can, I said. And so can the district attorney's office. Emma started crying. Dad, what's he talking about? Before I could answer, my front door opened. Sarah Chen walked in, followed by Tom Reynolds and 2 state police detectives. Derek Morrison, one detective said, you're under arrest for forgery, wire fraud, and attempted theft. Derek's face went white as the detective read him his rights. This is insane, Derek shouted. Emma, call my lawyer! Emma stood frozen, tears streaming. Derek, did you really forge Dad's signature? Baby, they're twisting everything, Derek pleaded as the detective cuffed him. I did this for us! By committing fraud? Emma cried. As they led Derek out, he twisted around. You'll regret this, old man. That farm's worthless anyway. Keep talking, Sarah said coolly. It's all being recorded. After the police left, Emma collapsed into a chair, sobbing. Dad, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know about the forgery. I sat beside her. Emma, what did you know? Derek told me you'd agreed to give us the farm after the wedding, she said between sobs. He showed me papers. He said you'd signed them when you were sick, but forgot. Did you read the papers? Michael asked. Emma shook her head. I trusted him. Sarah sat across from Emma. Emma, did Derek have you sign anything? Some financial papers, Emma admitted. For a joint bank account. He said it was for wedding expenses. Where's that account now? Sarah asked. Emma pulled out her phone, her face going pale. The $200,000, it's in our account, Tom whistled. That's the developer's down payment. Emma, freeze that account immediately or you could be charged as an accomplice. Oh my God, Emma breathed. What have I done? Nothing yet, Sarah said firmly. Call your bank right now, freeze the account, then we're going to the police station. At the station, Detective Maria Rodriguez interviewed Emma for 3 hours. Mr. Nico, Detective Rodriguez said later, your daughter's cooperation is valuable. She's agreed to full testimony. What will happen to her? I asked. She's a victim of Derek's manipulation, the detective replied. As long as she cooperates and returns the funds, we won't pursue charges. And Derek? Michael asked. Detective Rodriguez smiled grimly. Wire fraud, forgery, attempted grand theft. He's looking at 10 to 15 years. Days later, Sarah called. The developers are suing Derek. The DA found evidence he's done this before. 2 other elderly farmers in Nevada nearly lost their land before Derek settled. So this was his pattern, I said. Exactly. You're the first who fought back hard enough to stop him, Sarah replied. When's the arraignment? I asked. Tomorrow morning. I'll be there, I confirmed. The next day at the courthouse, Derek was led in wearing an orange jumpsuit. He scanned the room, his eyes landing on Emma. The judge entered. All rise. The Honorable Judge Patricia Williams presiding. Judge Williams reviewed the charges. Mr. Morrison, how do you plead? Derek's attorney stood. Not guilty, Your Honor. Bail? The judge asked the DA. The people request remand, Your Honor, the DA said. Mr. Morrison has a history of fleeing prosecution. Fraud charges in Nevada and Arizona. He's a flight risk. Derek's attorney objected. Your Honor, my client has ties to the community through his marriage. Your Honor, Emma stood up suddenly. I'm filing for divorce. He has no ties to me or this community. The courtroom erupted. Judge Williams banged her gavel. Order, young lady, sit down, the judge said. Then she turned to Derek. Bail is denied. Trial date is set for 60 days. Defendant is remanded. As they led Derek out, he called desperately. Emma, baby, please, don't do this. Emma stood tall. You did this to yourself, Derek. Goodbye. After the arraignment, Sarah gathered us in her office. That was quite a statement, Emma. I meant every word, Emma said quietly. Now let's talk about protecting your father's farm permanently, Sarah said. She outlined the legal strategy, restraining orders, working with developers, establishing a family trust. I'm also recommending you update your will, Nico, Sarah said. Create clear provisions for how the farm passes to Emma, but only after you're gone and with protections. That's wise, I agreed. Michael spoke up. What about the $200,000? Being returned to the developers with interest, Sarah explained. They've agreed not to pursue Emma civilly given her cooperation. 2 months later, Derek's trial began. I testified about the wedding confrontation and forged documents. Emma testified about his manipulation. The forensic expert explained the signature forgery. The developers testified about Derek's fraudulent sale. After 6 days, the jury deliberated for 3 hours. Has the jury reached a verdict? Judge Williams asked. We have, Your Honor, the forewoman said. On all counts, we find the defendant guilty. Derek collapsed in his chair. The judge set sentencing for 2 weeks later. At the sentencing hearing, Judge Williams addressed Derek directly. Mr. Morrison, you're a predator who targets families during vulnerable moments. You manipulated a young woman and attempted to steal a man's life's work. I'm sentencing you to 15 years in state prison on the fraud charges, 5 years for forgery, to run consecutively, 20 years total. Additionally, you're ordered to pay $150,000 in restitution to Mr. Nico. Derek's head dropped into his hands. Outside the courthouse, Emma and I stood with Michael and Sarah. It's really over, Emma said softly. Derek's attorney filed an appeal, but it'll be denied, Sarah confirmed. The evidence was overwhelming. Michael put his arm around my shoulder. How are you feeling, brother? Relieved, I admitted, and grateful. Emma turned to me, tears in her eyes. Dad, I don't know how to apologize. I pulled her into a hug. Emma, you were deceived by someone you loved. That's not your fault. But I should have questioned him, she sobbed. Now you know for next time, I said gently. Trust, but verify. A week later, all legal paperwork was finalized. Sarah had created a comprehensive trust protecting the farm. Emma had completed her divorce. Derek didn't contest from prison. The developers had recovered their money. Sarah called me to her office. Nico, everything's protected now. Derek can never touch your farm. What about when I'm gone? I asked. The trust ensures it can't be seized by a future spouse or creditor, Sarah explained. Emma will inherit it, but only after meeting certain conditions, financial counseling, legal review of major decisions. Emma spoke up. I want that, Dad. I don't trust my own judgment anymore. You'll learn, I said. We all make mistakes. Michael raised his coffee cup. To family protecting family. We all clinked cups together. Later that evening, back on my farm, I walked the property with Emma. The sun was setting over the fields. Dad, can I ask you something? Emma said quietly. Anything, sweetheart. Why did you fight so hard? Derek said you'd be better off retired. I stopped and looked at her. Emma, this farm isn't just land. It's your grandfather's legacy, your great-grandfather's dreams, and your future. Men like Derek see dollar signs. I see generations of family building something that lasts. I see it now too, she said softly. I'm so sorry I almost let him destroy it. Almost doesn't count, I replied. What matters is you stood up when it mattered most. At the arraignment, when you told that judge you were divorcing him, Emma, I've never been prouder. She hugged me tight. I love you, Dad. I love you too, and someday, when you're ready, this will all be yours, on your terms, in your time, protected from people who'd use it against you. Deal, she whispered. As we walked back, Michael was waiting on the porch with fresh coffee. Everything settled? He asked. Everything, I confirmed. Good. Sarah called. The developers want to apologize in person tomorrow. The next day, the development company's CEO, James Patterson, arrived. Mr. Nico, I owe you an apology, James said, shaking my hand. We should have verified Derek's ownership before accepting money. You were conned, too, I said. Derek was convincing. Still, we got our money back. You had to fight in court, James said. We'd like to make it right. We're donating $50,000 to rural farmland preservation in your name. I was stunned. That's not necessary. It is to us, James insisted. Men like Derek won't stop unless we all fight back. After they left, Sarah called with final news. Nico, Derek's appeal was denied. He's starting his 20-year sentence next week. It's completely over. Thank you, Sarah, for everything. My pleasure. The farm's safe now. Enjoy it. That night, I sat on my porch with Michael and Emma, watching the stars over the fields. Dad, Emma said, I start counseling next week. Sarah recommended someone who specializes in manipulation recovery. That's good, sweetheart, I encouraged. And I enrolled in agriculture business classes at the community college, she continued. I want to learn the farm business the right way. From you. My chest swelled with pride. I'd like that very much. Michael laughed. Watch out, Nico. She'll be running this place better than you within a year. That's the plan, I said, smiling. Have you ever had someone you trusted try to take everything from you? What would you have done when faced with public manipulation and private betrayal? Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.